Humans can build skyscrapers, survive tornadoes, and send rockets to Mars. Yet the moment they start sleepwalking, they turn into full-time chaos machines. From grilling laundry to disciplining kitchen appliances, people do things at night that even science refuses to explain. And tonight, you're about to witness 49 of the dumbest, funniest, and most unbelievable sleepwalking moments ever recorded. Get ready because these aren't dreams. These are real people accidentally living in a different universe. 1. A young woman wandered into her kitchen while sleepwalking and carefully placed her entire makeup collection inside the microwave. She arranged the lipsticks like ingredients and even sprinkled blush on top as if adding seasoning. Her roommate watched from the hallway in pure shock because she whispered that she was defrosting confidence for tomorrow. She pressed random buttons with the intensity of a chef preparing a 5-star meal. The roommate rushed forward before the microwave exploded into a cosmetics disaster. When the young woman finally snapped awake, she stared at the open microwave like it had betrayed her plans. Her roommate simply sighed and said that confidence was officially canceled for the night. 2. An uncle sleepwalked into his backyard carrying a frying pan and a single sock. He stood under the porch light like a lost TV host and announced that he was filming breakfast news. His teenage son peeked through the window and almost cried laughing when the uncle placed the sock in the pan and flipped it proudly like a pancake. A confused neighbor watering plants at midnight stared as the uncle thanked the imaginary audience for tuning in. When a gust of wind hit him, he saluted the sky and ended the show dramatically. He woke up seconds later holding the hot pan and wondering why his sock smelled crispy. 3. A grandmother sleepwalked into the living room holding a spaghetti strainer on her head like a helmet. She marched around the coffee table announcing a storm warning, even though the house was silent. Her grandson watched from the couch, trying not to laugh as she pointed the TV remote at the cat and declared it the weather assistant. She opened the front door and yelled that the wind was disrespectful tonight. The neighbor walking his dog froze when she waved the strainer like a royal crown. She snapped awake mid-speech and stared at the remote in her hand. Her grandson whispered that the weather report was officially canceled. 4. A teenage girl sleepwalked into the kitchen, carrying 3 carrots and a hairbrush. She lined the carrots on the counter like contestants, and then began brushing them gently, as if preparing them for prom. Her older sister peeked from behind the fridge and covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming with laughter. The teen whispered encouraging words to the carrots while adjusting the hairbrush like a stylist. When she tried to spray them with cooking oil for extra shine, her sister intervened. She woke up confused, holding a carrot like a microphone. Her sister told her the vegetable glamour industry had officially rejected her application. 5. A father sleepwalked into the hallway, wearing mismatched shoes and carrying a laundry basket filled with nothing but air. He announced to the staircase that it was time for story hour. His daughter watched from her bedroom door as he opened the empty basket and read pretend pages with dramatic voices. He even paused for laughs that never came. When the dog barked, he shushed it like a rude audience member. He then bowed to the ceiling fan and walked away proudly. He woke up leaning on the wall, clutching the empty basket. His daughter told him the imaginary book club had already given him 5 stars. 6. A college student sleepwalked into his dorm bathroom holding a slice of cheese like a sacred object. He placed it on the sink and told it to be brave. His roommate watched in disbelief as he turned on the shower and saluted the cheese with military seriousness. He then placed it on his shoulder like a badge and marched around the bathroom, dripping water everywhere. When he tried to store the cheese in the medicine cabinet, his roommate finally stepped in. He woke up sitting on the floor, clutching the soggy cheese. His roommate informed him that dairy was no longer allowed to enlist in the bathroom army. 7. An aunt sleepwalked into the living room, wearing oven mitts on her feet and sunglasses upside down. She strutted across the carpet like a model, announcing that the runway was now open. Her niece hid behind the couch, trying not to scream with laughter as the aunt posed dramatically in front of the window. She attempted a spin and accidentally kicked over a lamp, but continued the show proudly. The neighbor walking past the window saw her silhouettes and thought a fashion emergency was happening inside. She woke up mid-pose and stared at the oven mitts in confusion. Her niece told her the fashion world was not prepared for that performance. 8. A young boy sleepwalked into the kitchen, dragging a blanket and holding a cup upside down. He placed the cup on the floor and whispered that he was catching invisible frogs. His mother watched from behind the counter as he tiptoed around the room, making gentle ribbit sounds to lure them out. When he thought he caught one, he clapped proudly and placed the upside-down cup in the fridge for safety. His mother stopped him before he chilled the imaginary creature. He woke up hugging the blanket and staring at the empty cup. His mother told him the frogs escaped before sunrise. 9. A middle-aged woman sleepwalked into the backyard with a flashlight and a broom. She held the broom like a microphone and began singing to the trash cans as if they were a cheering crowd. Her husband watched from the sliding door, trying not to laugh, as she took a dramatic bow toward the garden hose. When a raccoon peeked from behind a bush, she dedicated her next song to it with full emotion. She woke up seconds later mid-bow, holding the broom like a trophy. Her husband told her she had just performed a private backyard concert for one raccoon and 3 confused trash cans. 10. A retired grandpa sleepwalked onto the porch, holding a jar of pickles like a priceless treasure. He sat in a rocking chair and whispered that he was guarding the kingdom. His granddaughter watched through the screen door as he held the jar tightly against his chest like a royal duty. When a car passed, he lifted the jar toward it in a protective gesture. A stray cat walked by and he sternly warned it not to approach the royal pickles. He woke up shivering in the morning breeze, still gripping the jar. His granddaughter told him the kingdom appreciated his overnight service. 11. A young mother sleepwalked into the hallway carrying a whisk and a pillow. She placed the pillow on the floor and started whisking the air above it like she was preparing a gourmet cloud. Her husband peeked around the corner, trying not to collapse, laughing as she sprinkled imaginary ingredients into the air. When the dog sniffed the pillow, she gently told it not to disturb the recipe. She even tasted the air and nodded like a serious chef, approving her own work. She woke up sitting on the floor holding the whisk with deep confusion. Her husband told her the invisible dessert had already been served to the judges. 12. A teenage boy sleepwalked into the garage holding a flashlight and a banana. He pointed the banana at the parked car and demanded its license and registration with full authority. His older brother watched from behind a stack of boxes, barely breathing because he was laughing too hard. The boy tapped the banana on the hood like he was writing a ticket and warned the car not to speed in the neighborhood again. When the garage door creaked, he jumped like backup officers had arrived. He woke up leaning on the car holding the squished banana. His brother told him the vehicle fully cooperated with law enforcement that night. 13. A grandmother sleepwalked into the kitchen wearing 2 scarves tied together like a superhero cape. She planted her hands on her hips and declared that the house was officially under her protection. Her daughter watched from the table as she marched around the room, checking every cabinet as if villains lived inside. When she reached the fridge, she whispered a dramatic warning to the leftovers. She even posed in front of the microwave, like she was waiting for her theme music. She woke up mid-pose, staring at her tied scarves in confusion. Her daughter told her that crime rates dropped significantly during her night patrol. 14. A college girl sleepwalked into her dorm lounge carrying a cereal box and a roll of tape. She dumped the cereal on the couch cushions and began taping random pieces to the wall like she was creating modern art. Her roommate walked in and froze as the girl proudly stepped back and admired the chaotic display. She even bowed to the coffee table like she was presenting at a gallery opening. When a friend entered, she explained the artwork represented breakfast emotions. She woke up with tape stuck to her elbow and cereal everywhere. Her roommate told her the gallery had closed due to excessive crunchiness. 15. A father sleepwalked into the backyard holding his son's skateboard like it was a sacred offering. He placed it carefully on the lawn and knelt beside it as if performing some ancient ceremony. His wife watched from the back door, trying not to laugh, as he bowed repeatedly toward the mailbox. When the sprinklers turned on, he leaped up dramatically and shouted that the ritual was complete. He woke up soaked and staring at the skateboard in shock. His wife informed him that the lawn gods appreciated his late-night devotion and might bless him with fewer weeds next season. 16. A middle-aged woman sleepwalked into her kitchen, wearing gardening gloves and carrying a single spoon. She gently placed the spoon on the counter and told it she would help it grow strong. Her teenage daughter peeked from the stairs, trying not to scream, laughing as the woman sprinkled sugar around the spoon like fertilizer. She even patted the counter and encouraged the spoon to stay positive. When she tried to water it from the sink, her daughter stepped in. She woke up gripping the faucet handle and staring at the spoon. Her daughter told her the utensil decided against pursuing a gardening career. 17. A grandfather sleepwalked into the living room with a remote in one hand and a potato in the other. He pointed the potato at the TV and complained that the channels were all wrong. His grandson watched silently as he smacked the potato gently like it was malfunctioning technology. When the TV switched channels on its own, he declared victory and saluted the potato proudly. He even placed it on the armrest like a loyal assistant. He woke up moments later holding the potato with a puzzled expression. His grandson told him the potato successfully restored the broadcast and deserved a promotion. 18. A young woman sleepwalked into the bathroom holding a jar of peanut butter like it contained priceless secrets. She opened the cabinet and whispered to each shelf that she trusted them with the mission. Her sister peeked from behind the door as the woman placed the jar inside and saluted the mirror with intense seriousness. She then whispered a dramatic goodbye to the peanut butter before closing the cabinet gently. She woke up sitting on the toilet lid, staring at the closed door. Her sister told her the jar completed its undercover assignment successfully. 19. A teenage boy sleepwalked into the living room, carrying a baseball glove filled with popcorn. He shook it like a maraca and announced that the stadium crowd was ready. His mother watched from the hallway as he tossed a handful of popcorn into the air and swung at it with the glove like he was batting practice. When most of it fell on the floor, he cheered as if scoring a home run. He woke up standing in a pile of popcorn, holding the glove in confusion. His mother told him the imaginary crowd loved his performance. 20. A neighbor's uncle sleepwalked into the driveway, wearing a hoodie backward and holding a bottle of ketchup. He pointed the ketchup at the sky like he was communicating with distant planets. Another neighbor walking his dog froze as the uncle shouted a greeting to the stars. He then carefully poured a small line of ketchup on the driveway and bowed to it respectfully. He woke up moments later staring at the ketchup trail and wiping his hands in confusion. His niece told him the aliens sent their regards and accepted his condiment message. 21. A young woman sleepwalked into the kitchen holding a spray bottle and a slice of bread. She carefully placed the bread on the counter and misted it with water like she was giving it a spot treatment. Her boyfriend peeked from behind the fridge, trying not to choke laughing as she whispered that the bread deserved hydration. She even massaged the crust gently like a relaxing facial. When the cat meowed, she told it to wait its turn. She woke up rubbing the bread between her hands in total confusion. Her boyfriend told her the bread canceled its appointment because the treatment was too advanced. 22. A middle-aged man sleepwalked outside carrying a toolbox and wearing a winter hat in the summer. He approached the mailbox and confidently started inspecting it like a professional mechanic. His wife watched from the window, stunned as he tapped the sides and told the mailbox it needed an oil change. When a passing jogger slowed down, he waved like he owned a repair shop. He even tightened invisible bolts and nodded proudly when he was done. He woke up kneeling in the driveway, holding a wrench he never used. His wife informed him that the mailbox passed its inspection with flying colors. 23. A teenage girl sleepwalked into the living room, carrying her hamster's cage like it was a briefcase full of secrets. She set it on the couch and told the hamster it needed to prepare for its big interview. Her brother watched from behind the door, trying not to laugh, as she straightened the hamster bedding like a tie. She even asked it serious questions and nodded as if impressed with the answers. When the hamster squeaked, she said its communication skills were exceptional. She woke up with her face in the cage bars, confused. Her brother told her the hamster got the job. 24. An elderly uncle sleepwalked into the kitchen with a measuring cup and a pair of socks draped over his shoulder like a chef's towel. He placed the socks in the sink and filled the measuring cup with water as if preparing a delicate recipe. His niece watched silently from the doorway as he stirred the water and announced the socks were ready for marinating. He even tapped them with a spoon like checking tenderness. When he attempted to season them with salt, she intervened. He woke up holding the soggy socks with a confused frown. His niece told him the sock stew was not approved by any cookbook. 25. A young mother sleepwalked into the bedroom holding a vacuum hose without the vacuum attached. She aimed it at the wall and told the imaginary dust to surrender. Her husband watched from the bed, trying not to burst out laughing as she made dramatic sweeping motions. When the hose made no sound, she blamed it for being lazy. She even crouched behind the dresser like she was in a spy movie. She woke up pointing the hose at the ceiling in total confusion. Her husband told her the house remained dust-free thanks to her bravery. 26. A little boy sleepwalked into the living room, dragging a toy wagon filled with apples. He lined the apples on the coffee table and declared they were starting school. His older sister watched, trying not to scream, laughing as he called roll, and tapped each apple like taking attendance. When one apple rolled off the table, he sent it to detention. He even gave a motivational speech to the remaining apples about being brave. He woke up sitting on the rug hugging the wagon. His sister told him the apples learned a lot during class. 27. A middle-aged woman sleepwalked into the yard carrying a flashlight and a jar of glitter. She shook the glitter over the bushes like she was blessing them for a sacred event. Her neighbor watering his plants froze as she whispered that the garden needed encouragement. She even circled the tree, chanting softly like performing magic. When the wind blew the glitter back onto her face, she thanked the universe for responding. She woke up sparkly and confused under the porch light. Her husband told her the garden appreciated its glamorous makeover. 28. A grandfather sleepwalked into the living room, holding a tennis racket and a loaf of bread. He tossed pieces of bread into the air and swung at them like practicing his serve. His granddaughter peeked from behind the recliner, nearly choking with laughter, as crumbs exploded everywhere. When a piece landed on the dog, the grandfather apologized like he hit a spectator. He woke up mid-swing, staring at the racket in confusion. His granddaughter told him he won the bread championship by a landslide. 29. A college student sleepwalked into the hallway, carrying a roll of wrapping paper and a pillow. He placed the pillow on the floor and tried to wrap it like a Christmas present. His roommate watched silently, trying to understand the technique, as the student smoothed every edge with intense focus. He even paused to admire his progress, as if crafting a masterpiece. When he realized the pillow kept expanding, he scolded it for being uncooperative. He woke up tangled in paper and tape. His roommate told him the pillow refused gifting. 30. A grandmother sleepwalked onto her porch wearing oven mitts and carrying a watering can filled with cereal. She poured the cereal onto the steps as if feeding imaginary birds. Her daughter stared from the doorway, trying not to laugh as the grandmother hummed gently while refilling the can. When a real bird landed nearby, she told it to wait its turn. She woke up clutching the empty watering can with crumbs around her feet. Her daughter told her the imaginary birds left a generous tip. 31. A teenage boy sleepwalked into the kitchen carrying a football and a jar of pickles. He placed the football on the counter and unscrewed the pickle jar like he was prepping a pre-game snack. His father watched from the doorway, trying not to burst out laughing as the boy dipped the football gently into the jar, like marinating it for flavor. He even patted it proudly as if seasoning worked. When the dog barked, he warned it to respect the athlete's meal plan. He woke up moments later staring at the wet football with deep confusion. His father told him the football refused the pickle treatment. 32. A young woman sleepwalked into her living room, wearing sunglasses at midnight while carrying a box of tissues. She lined the tissues on the coffee table and began giving them a motivational speech about being strong during tough times. Her roommate peeked around the corner, trying not to collapse, laughing as she patted each tissue like a therapist encouraging clients. She even wiped her own cheek with a tissue and reassured it that emotions were valid. She woke up sitting on the couch surrounded by tissues like a tiny support group. Her roommate told her the tissue therapy session ended successfully. 33. A grandfather sleepwalked outside with a fishing pole and a flashlight, determined for a midnight catch. He stood over a puddle in the driveway and cast the line with absolute confidence. His granddaughter watched from the porch, silently laughing, as he whispered to the puddle to reveal its secrets. When the line snagged a leaf, he celebrated like he caught a legendary fish. A neighbor walking his dog froze at the scene, but decided not to intervene. The grandfather woke up holding the leaf proudly. His granddaughter told him he had caught the rare driveway fish. 34. A mother sleepwalked into the bathroom, carrying a bottle of shampoo and a stack of napkins. She placed the napkins in the sink and tried conditioning them gently, like she was treating delicate hair. Her husband watched from the doorway, nearly choking on laughter while she rinsed the napkins and whispered that they needed volume. When one napkin tore, she gasped dramatically like a stylist dealing with a bad haircut. She woke up staring at the soggy napkins clinging to her hands. Her husband told her the napkins wanted a simpler hairstyle. 35. A middle-aged uncle sleepwalked into the living room, carrying a broom like a conductor's baton. He stood before the TV and began waving it dramatically, as if leading a world-class orchestra. His niece watched from behind the couch, trying not to scream laughing as he cued the imaginary violins and scolded the non-existent horns. He even bowed deeply after finishing an impressive silent performance. He woke up hunched over the broom with a confused stare. His niece told him the orchestra appreciated his passion. 36, a teenage girl sleepwalked into the kitchen, holding a roll of paper towels and a salt shaker. She carefully placed a single paper towel on the counter and seasoned it like a gourmet appetizer. Her older sister peeked from behind the fridge, shocked as the girl folded the towel neatly and admired it like a chef plating a dish. When she lifted it to take a bite, her sister rushed over. She woke up holding the salted towel near her mouth. Her sister told her the restaurant refused to serve paper towel to pus. 37. A grandfather sleepwalked onto the porch, holding a lamp like it was a sacred lantern. He lifted it toward the night sky and whispered that he was guiding lost travelers home. His daughter watched silently from the hallway, trying not to laugh as he rotated the lamp slowly, like conducting a ritual. When a moth flew near, he welcomed it warmly like a returning warrior. He woke up seated on the porch, clutching the lamp. His daughter told him the travelers appreciated the lighthouse service. 38. A middle-aged woman sleepwalked into the dining room with a frying pan and a stack of sticky notes. She placed sticky notes in the pan one by one, like preparing tiny pancakes. Her husband watched from behind a chair as she flipped the notes proudly and nodded at her imaginary guests. When the dog sniffed the pan, she warned it that breakfast wasn't ready yet. She woke up holding the pan filled with pastel-colored notes. Her husband told her the guests loved the creativity but preferred real food. 39. A young boy sleepwalked into the backyard carrying a flashlight and a teddy bear dressed in a sock. He placed the teddy on a lawn chair and gave it a dramatic pep talk, like training it for a sports tournament. His mother watched from the sliding door as he timed its imaginary drills and encouraged its performance. When a raccoon wandered by, he told the teddy not to get distracted by rival athletes. He woke up hugging the bear tightly. His mother told him the teddy passed its evaluation with honors. 40. A grandmother sleepwalked into the kitchen wearing dish towels on her shoulders like a superhero cape. She stood in front of the fridge and declared that she would protect the food from danger. Her grandson peeked from behind the table, shaking with laughter as she inspected every shelf with heroic determination. When the ice maker rattled, she yelled that villains were approaching. She woke up gripping the fridge door with a fierce expression. Her grandson told her the food was safe thanks to her protection. 41. A teenage boy sleepwalked into the kitchen carrying a broom and a jar of honey. He dipped the broom bristles into the jar like he was glazing a giant dessert. His mother watched from the hallway, trying not to scream, laughing as he gently brushed the floor with sweet determination. When the honey made his footsteps sticky, he blamed the floor for fighting back. A confused cat stuck its paw in the mess and stared at him like he'd lost his mind. He woke up holding the sticky broom in total disbelief. His mother told him the floor rejected the honey coating, but appreciated the effort. 42. A middle-aged woman sleepwalked into the living room carrying a frying pan and a beach towel. She spread the towel on the rug and stood on it like she was sunbathing indoors. Her husband watched from the stairs, hiding his laughter, as she tilted the frying pan toward the lamp like it was a tanning reflector. When a bug flew by, she said the beach was crowded today. She even applied imaginary sunscreen to her elbows. She woke up lying flat on the towel while gripping the pan. Her husband told her the indoor beach had closed for the night due to unusual weather. 43. A father sleepwalked outside holding a plunger like a torch and wearing socks on his hands. He marched down the driveway announcing the beginning of the midnight ceremony. His teenage daughter watched from the porch, nearly collapsing with laughter as he knelt beside a flower pot and tapped it with the plunger like knighting it. A neighbor taking out the trash froze when the father saluted the moon. He woke up kneeling in the driveway, gripping the plunger in confusion. His daughter told him he successfully completed the ceremony, and the flower pot felt honored. 44. A young woman sleepwalked into the kitchen with her hair tied in a messy bun and a ladle in her hand. She opened the fridge and began giving each shelf compliments as if they were contestants in a cooking show. Her roommate peeked from behind the door, holding back laughter as she judged the pickles for their confidence and applauded the eggs for teamwork. She even tapped the milk jug with the ladle like awarding points. She woke up standing in front of the open fridge with a dramatic expression. Her roommate told her the contestants appreciated the feedback, but requested a rematch. 45. A grandmother sleepwalked into the living room, carrying a shoebox and whispering mission codes. She gently placed the shoebox under the lamp and saluted it like a top-secret package. Her daughter watched silently from the hallway, trying not to laugh as she circled the room guarding the area. When the air conditioner turned on, she shouted that an intruder approached. She even slid behind the couch like a spy. She woke up holding the empty box with suspicion. Her daughter told her the mission was successful and all agents survived. 46. A teenage girl sleepwalked into the yard carrying a hairbrush and a bowl of popcorn. She placed the bowl carefully on the grass and started brushing the lawn like grooming a giant pet. Her brother watched from the porch, shaking with laughter as she sang softly to the grass and fed it popcorn for good behavior. When the sprinklers clicked, she yelled that the lawn needed discipline. She woke up sitting cross-legged in the yard holding the brush. Her brother told her the lawn appreciated the makeover, but rejected the snack. 47. A grandfather sleepwalked into the bathroom, holding a bag of marshmallows like medical supplies. He placed them in the sink and began examining them with full seriousness. His daughter peeked in confused as he arranged them like patients waiting for treatment. When one rolled away, he gasped and placed it back gently. He even patted the marshmallows like reassuring worried families. He woke up moments later staring at the sink full of puffy patients. His daughter told him the hospital closed early due to soft inventory. 48. A college guy sleepwalked into the hallway wearing one shoe and carrying an unplugged toaster. He held it up like a sacred artifact and declared he would deliver it to the mountain. His roommate watched from the bathroom doorway, unable to breathe from laughing, as the guy slowly climbed each stair like a heroic quest. When he reached the landing, he placed the toaster down proudly as if completing destiny. He woke up sitting next to it confused. His roommate told him the mountain accepted his offering. 49. A young mother sleepwalked into the living room carrying a roll of foil and her child's teddy bear. She wrapped the teddy carefully, like preparing it for space travel, and whispered instructions about gravity. Her husband stood frozen, wiping tears of laughter as she saluted the bear and placed it gently on the couch like a launching pad. When she counted down loudly, the dog barked along like mission control. She woke up staring at the foil-covered teddy in shock. Her husband told her the space mission launched successfully and the bear reached orbit safely. Humans may master technology, explore space, and invent unbelievable things. Yet some of our wildest moments happen when our brains clock out and our feet keep going. Sleepwalkers don't just wander. They create midnight chaos, run secret missions, and turn ordinary objects into legends. Which one of these blew your mind the most? Comment your favorite number and tell me if you've ever done something strange in your sleep. And hey, hit subscribe before you wake up.